Hi there, welcome to the latest episode of my 10-minute moan. The topic of this 10-minute moan is the outrageous new figures that in Scotland, 10,000 people died while waiting on waiting lists for treatment from our NHS. And this is just bonkers. This is, by the way, that's risen by 200%. So it's doubled in the last 10 years. And it's just like, when do people get to that point where they say enough's enough? This just isn't happening anymore. We can't accept this. Now, the story is in the Times. A record 10,000 people have died in limbo in Scotland's main NHS waiting lists in last year. Oh, and by the way, the figures might be underestimated, with the number losing their lives in the queue for specialist care more than doubling in a decade. Start new figures show number of patients dying while waiting for initial hospital consultations in 12 months to the end of September 2024. The analysis shows that the number of people dying while waiting for agreed treatment, such as surgery, has risen more than 200% since 2014. Public Health Scotland, the monitoring body of the Scottish Government who supplied the figures, warned they're likely to be an underestimate. Issues have been flagged with totals to three main health boards, with NHS Tayside and NHS Borders likely to have undercounted patients' deaths. How can you not know who's on a waiting list or not? And it just beggars belief. Now, the waiting list deaths across Scottish health boards, every single one of them has went up, apart from one, Lothian. They've managed to come down since 2019. They went from 1,720 deaths to 1,558. Greater Glasgow and Clyde has went up from 1,324 up to 2,771. And all the rest, every single one, bar Lothian, has shown an increase in the last 10 years. It's a bit strange that only one done that. The health service has indicated, it's about his father, we're into that one. Lauren Benny, head of Scotland versus Arthritis, said people who live with arthritis can find themselves waiting years for hip or knee replacements, which will relieve agonising pain and disability and dramatically improve their quality of life. It's devastating to think instead of being able to make the most of their last year's patients have to rein in their activities because there are such long delays in treatment. If you think about it, somebody who's old and has got a certain level of an active life, if they're waiting for surgeries that will help their mobility, it curbs their activity, and that can lead to issues. So even things that you think might not be life-threatening are, because it has a knock-on effect to the other factors in their lives. And the figures are just shocking. So the total deaths from 2014 of people on waiting lists went from 4,000 to 10,304. And they might be wrong, might be more. Outpatients, the trend for that was almost identical to the normal trend of the overall, where it went from 3,343 up to 8,153. But the biggest significant rise I can see is the inpatients. That's people that are in hospital waiting for treatment, rose from 690 to 2,150. And and by the way, the data from NHS Tayside was missing. So the figures shown could be definitely be underestimates. And it's just frightening to think that our health service, our nurses, our industry used to be world renowned. And now we've managed to double the amount of people dying while waiting for surgeries. Now, a lot was made during COVID, and there was obviously a big rise during COVID. But you would imagine as soon as COVID restrictions finished, then that those figures would come down. They've continued to go up, even after the massive rises in 2020 to 2022 when we had all this COVID nonsense. And it just beggars belief. And I'm running out of patience. See people who want to defend to the hilt this SNP government. You go, well, what have you done? We've got the worst drug deaths in Europe. Alcohol deaths is on the up, even though we had this thing called minimum pricing for alcohol, minimum unit pricing, for alcohol, which is actually, the figures have been up, so that beggars belief. Is there anything that we can say that the SNP have been good at? And people want to throw up nonsense like, oh, baby boxes. Baby boxes. I've already done a video on this alone. I've got 2 children and had 2 children who were born before the baby box thing. But any time when we left in maternity with those 2 children, we were given freebies. So freebies to newborn families isn't a new thing. We just put them in a cardboard box now. So anybody that wants to defend this, you know what you do? Take your cardboard baby box and go to any of the homes, any of the 10,000 people in the last 12 months alone that have lost loved ones while waiting, and say, but look, we've got baby boxes. Because the actual cardboard box is the only thing we never got free 20 odd years ago when I was having my children. And that's a sort of but we've got free bus passes. No, you don't. A free bus pass, if it was genuinely free and nobody paid for it, would need to be ignorant to the fact that we spend hundreds of millions of pounds per year giving the bus companies subsidies for these people that were getting free bus passes. So it's not free. We pay for it. So instead of the person paying for it when they buy the ticket off the bus driver, we pay for it because obviously the money in the Scottish Government comes from Scottish people. So this is, it's just, and see, that's nonsense. Oh, you want to throw up stuff. It's absolute bonkers, and I've had enough of it. 10,000 people died waiting for treatment in the NHS in Scotland alone. And by the way, England's not much better, right? But the Scottish Government have the power to sort this out. They just don't have the brains, or possibly the ambition to sort this out. And I thought when I seen these figures today, the 10,000 must have been for the UK. No. In Scotland, 10,000. So what's that? 1,000 every 200 people nearly 30 people every day dying in Scotland while they're waiting for treatment in the NHS. We're not a big country. That is absolutely ridiculous. And the only way we can solve this, because we're running out of excuses. We ran out of them a long time ago. We need to change this government because they're absolutely stinking. There's nothing that they're improving. They've even managed to bring down the average life expectancy of people in Scotland in 14 years. Bonkers. Anyway, if you want this video to be shared and seen by other people and spread the word, do 3 things. Dead simple, none of them cost any money and they'll take seconds. Hit the thumbs up, put some comments below, and hit the share button and send it to some of your friends. If you've not already done so, hit the subscribe and the notification bell. But most importantly of all, unless you are the type of person that wants to try and justify this nonsense, then no you. But everyone else, have a great day. Cheerio, bye now.